Hello, welcome to another blind tasting episode with Somm Stacey. Last time we tasted a wine that was, I went into a Pinot Grigio Sauvignon Blanc vein, realized that was not right, talked myself out of it, talked about bitterness, fruit, floral, some less aromatic grape varietals, and then started looking at Albarino, Muscadet, and Gruner. Kicked Gruner out and went back and forth between Muscadet and Albarino, and then I decided to call it Muscadet because of that bitter, crispy green, the kind of not fruity enough character that I was getting, and then yeah, that's kind of what did it. So how did that go for me? Well, it's an Albarino, so I was in the right place, and I went to Muscadet because I didn't think it had enough of the things to call it Albarino. So, what do you do? I feel like if I was tasting properly, it didn't have the things I thought it needed to have to be Albarino. So maybe this Albarino is not really super testable. It's not very, very classic. They both have very similar, medium bodies, elevated acids, medium alcohol, medium plus to high minerality. And this did have that salty sea brininess, which I thought was a little more Muscadet. And Albarino's usually got a lot more ripe fruit, and this one was a lot more tart and high acid, tart and crisp, and not quite as floral. So that minimum faint white flower kind of thing that I usually get from Muscadet, and not quite as yellow and citrus apple blossom kind of stuff. They both get that surly, lazy yeast, sourdough beer kind of component to them. So, not right, but I think I was in the right place, and because of what I tasted, I feel good about what I called, even if it was not correct. I guess I'm just going to drink more Albarino. Shucks. Okay, so the wine for today is going to be red. And look at that pretty girl. It is red. It's just really red. There's a little garnet highlight. There's not a ton of rim variation. There is a little bit of watery meniscus. There's no sediment or gas. I do not see any staining, and tearing is moderate. Okay, moving to the nose. Wine is just red. It is cherry berry, fruit forward. A little bit of strawberry, red flowers. Everything's red. It's ripe. There's a little earthiness behind it, clay or black earth. Little cinnamony, could be some oak on this, but it's not a big oak vanilla bomb. So I kind of reserve judgment, but there is a little bit of spice. So there's like a white pepper, cinnamon, just a little tickling in the back of the nose. Yeah, white pepper. I don't get that often, but this is definitely kind of a white pepper. And there's a little like beef jerky. Not a big, super meaty, but just a little beef jerky. And it burns a little, so maybe there's an elevated alcohol in this. Lots of things about this point me to New World on the nose. Ripe fruit, red, and the higher elevated alcohol. All right, let's taste it. Wine is sound, wine is dry. Wow. Wine is much more structure forward on the palate than I thought it would have been from how ripe and fruit forward it was in the nose. It is underripe and tart red fruits. There's much more like cranberry, pomegranate, cherry pit. The spice is a bigger component too. There's definitely like a kick of spice, white peppers. No real floral here. There is still an earth and a beef jerky, but it's more the texture of beef jerky. It's not meaty anymore, but that spice and the tartness of the red fruit is a big deal. All right, It is sound. I do not get a lot of oak on this at all. I want this to be in like concrete. Just the way that the minerality of it is kind of coating my palate. It just feels rocky and minerally, and that texture is very gravelly, which is, old world tannins. So the body on this is medium. Acid is high. Alcohol, I mean, it burns. I think we're talking a warmer climate in the old world for this. Tannins are moderate. Minerality is medium plus. No real oak, so dry. Man, this is interesting, and I'm not quite sure where to take it. But color, the lightness of the concentration, that red. I mean, do we stick with Pinot Noir, Gamay? That keeps us in France, and Burgundy and Beaujolais. Could be Grenache. I need to start coordinating with these people who are pouring me wine so that I don't keep tasting Pinot Noir and Grenache all the time. But yeah, elevated acidity, where the alcohol is a little bit elevated, I think. We're talking maybe Cru Beaujolais for a little more heat, or like a Baccarat Gigondas, Grenache heavy Southern Rhone. So let's go with that. Let's go with Grenache heavy Southern Rhone, right? And youthful. I need to talk about youthful, because there's nothing about this that seems like it's aging. There's no tertiary flavors. There's no funky mushroomy stuff. So fruit driving the bus, cherries, tartness, pity. I can't help but think this is Grenache. It's Southern Rhone. It's Gigondas, or a Grenache heavy Chateauneuf de Pape person. It's good, but it's not like super high quality, I feel. So it makes me want to stick with, Gigondas, Southern Rhone, 2016 France. Lengthy finish. Yeah, I'm gonna call it quick right there. All right, let's see what happens.